joint. Told y'all we going live every day, man. We live. Just people trying to come up in this joint. We live, bro. Hey, Rob up. We live again, yo. Just got in the building. Got the people in the building. Shout out Sun Rob, man. Man, boy, I'm telling you, that green, bro. I gotta get the towel now. Hold up. Hey, man. We got up in this joint. P-Quad, I see. It's the alkaline joint, man. 8.5 joint, 991. Got to say the encyclopedia. Hey, is it clear? Got the Saving Remedy book. Got a couple of them herb joints. Hey, this right here like a small pamphlet, like a Baba put out. The Science of Sound Healing. That joint there, that little joints be hot, bro. Got another joint. Shout out Rockwell, man. Science of Sound Healing. The joint's hot. See what we got up in that joint. My boy's flag in the background. Seven, bro. 7. What we got? Master legal terms. But this book right here, the constitutional book, they forgot about this one. This little book right here, it's a powerful book right here that Baba put out. guitar. But I have my studio set back up though. We're playing this joint for y'all soon when I get my studio set back up. Yeah, I know how to pluck guitar too. You on that coconut water. It's clear right now, huh? Okay. It's not clear? Damn. Man, I'm about to do something about that, bro. So the music not clear, the video. Damn, bro, they fucking. Hey, know when they see me with the moral science shit, they start to blur it, man. I'm telling you. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Just let my intro music play down. I think I like this music as my intro music. Circle 7 hoodie. Shout out Rockwell, man. Showing y'all some books every day, man. Some of the books at the library, right? Showing y'all some new books every day. Hey, Rob out to everybody up in this joint, man. Yeah, you got people out here trying to cast spells on niggas, man. Trying to spook them out. Man, the young elder, man, he about to get ready to fade out. Man, you niggas is crazy. Young elder, man, please. It says heavy is the head that wear the crown. Nah, that's a spell. I don't let none of them spells work on me no more. Nigga, blessed is the head who wears the crown. Blessed is the head that carries the crown. And we don't like to say blessed because be less. Blessed mean be less, be lesser, right? So great is the nigga that wears the crown, right? We ain't letting them cast no more spells on us. Hey, shout out everybody that's in the live, man. I told y'all we live every day, bro. At around 5 something. Shout out Mr. Smalls, Dedrick Smalls. Shout out to brother Sunrod, P Quad, Yafael, Robot. We live, man, and you know they watching. I tried to. I got a clothing line coming out, right? Called Young L Dior. It's already the clothing line already ready. They just wouldn't let me link it to YouTube, so I got in touch with YouTube today. See if they gonna link it with that. So we're gonna wait on that. See what's gonna crack on that joint. But I'm gonna put the links to the clothing line in this video, so you can already go buy the shit right already. You already can go buy like the stuff that we're putting out, the Young L Dior. Right, we got hoodies, we got cups, we got water bottles, we got t-shirts, we got pants, hats. We're gonna have the glasses, the sun glasses. So we're gonna be live. They chopped up that dang on that we said trend tape. They chopped that up so bad. Hey, how I'm coming through? I'm coming through clear. They chopped that tape up so bad. You can hear what I'm saying, but it probably got people frustrated how blurry it was. Shout out Lady Madam. We see you, bro. We live. What y'all want to talk about, man? Cause they damn near try to these old cats, they scan these old cats. Now that I put that tape out yesterday, these old cats, they kind of scare cats up. man, you better leave your girl alone, man. You better get taken out. Yeah, right. Yeah, boy, I want to make this clear. I ain't Jesus, nigga. I ain't Jesus. I ain't Christ. And anybody that's telling you they is, don't believe them. Right? That's what the Bible said. And it's in their own books. I ain't Jesus, nigga. I'm Haru. Right? That Jesus stuff come from sun worship. It's dealing with the astrological charts, right? Because the sun, and it used to be 13 zodiac signs in ancient Egypt. It was 13, but they got 12 now, right? And so they took that 12 zodiac signs, and then with the sun being in the middle of the Dior calendar, with that sun being in the middle, they took that particular Caucasians, because they got to keep in mind, these people thought the world was flat. These people was not intelligent at all. They was in a cave for a long time, right? Joshua is Ili. No, that ain't right, bro. Ili is a whole nother being. Joshua is Tammuz, right? Haru, you know what I'm saying? And Ili is a whole nother being. He's not even Hanuel is Hanuel or Gabriel is the son of Hanuel is the father of Tammuz and them. You know what I'm saying? Eli's son name was Baal, right? Baal is when I was Tammuz in that life, he was my cousin. And he got Baal. Okay, let me tell you that story. Because that's what I was gonna talk about, the Galactic shit, the story of Mother Huber. Right? So when we was in we traveled, we went to different galaxies before we came to the Milky Way galaxy. And it wasn't called a Milky Way for all the people that want, it wasn't no galaxy named after Snicker bar. Yeah, go ahead. I'm just using the word the Milky Way because the name that we had is just a symbol. We didn't have our language was different. It was symbols. Our language was symbols, and some of those symbols can't be pronounced in a tone. They all telepathically symbols. Like I show you a telepathic symbol, and when you see that symbol, you automatically know what that symbol means. If you understood our dialect, we telepathic beings, right? So we left a galaxy called Detra, and we migrated to a galaxy called Adi. When we got to Adi, we ran into these beings. They call them in the Stargate movie the Asgards. That's the first type of Greys. And actually, they didn't have that particular body when we came in contact with them. They actually looked more humanoid and green looking, right? And so what happens is we stayed there for a while. And we eventually trained them guys on how to clone because they was trying to develop ascension technology way back then, and they caused a defect in their genetics. So we taught them how to clone, and so they started cloning and making these gray type shells, right? But they had already populated the outer galaxy. They already populated the outer galaxy. So eventually we left there and we found another galaxy called Pegasus. When we got to Pegasus, we started setting up there, right? Inky's not the Messiah. No, I ain't say Inky was the Messiah. Inky is Murdoch's father. No, we didn't say that. But yeah. So we got to the Pegasus and we began to set up shop there. And some of the first creatures we created, and when we got to the Pegasus, were the insect creatures. And matter of fact, maybe Saturday or Sunday, I'm gonna drop the insect audio book, so you can see it. Listen to that story. So they created these insects, and but how it goes is Ansar wanted some amusement, so he called his scientists. And Ansar head scientist at the time was Mother Hubert. That's his head scientist. Just like a news head scientist is Mother Ninty, right? So the women are the best scientists because they got a nurturing spirit. They got a nurturing type energy, right? So they women are the best scientists. That's why the woman that put together the COVID-19 is a woman, right? That put together the COVID-19, like the new vaccine for it or whatever, right? So yeah, so he wanted some amusement, so they designed. She designed a dragonfly, right? And from the dragonfly, several it's like over 1 million different species of insects that were drafted out. So the oldest insect is the dragonfly, billions of years old, right? And then from that insect, many different insects were drafted and evoluted, right? But they began to populate because insects multiply fast, especially in a good tropical climate. Insects multiply fast, so the insects began multiplying so fast that we said, you know what, we're gonna just leave this galaxy and find us a new one. So Ansar sent his 3 sons out to go find a new home. And to make a long story short, they chose the news idea of the galaxy that we call in the Milky Way now. And so we came here, we landed on Saturn. Actually, we landed on another planet in the Centaurian star system. We trying to like set up there to try to figure out what was going on in this galaxy. And then we left there and came to this solar system. This is one of the oldest solar systems in your galaxy, right? And how you know is the color of the suns. If the sun is a blue sun, it's a new sun. Like Cyrus is a blue sun. So you see that just was created not too long ago. And like Betelgeuse is like a red sun. So that's like it was there a long time ago, way before your sun. It's older than your sun, right? Because the last phase of a sun is red. The middle phase is a yellow sun, right? So we came to Saturn, we set up shop there, and we started doing creations there. But the insects followed us here. Some of them went to Andromedans, the galaxy, and some of them followed us here. And they started multiplying here. Oh yeah, let me go back. Before we left the Pegasus, we tried to do like create another creature to counteract these insects. And the creature that we created was the bird race. We took the DNA from the insects and added some of our DNA together and created what you call the Canarian race and the Blue Avians. It's 2 races that were created, the Canarians and the Blue Avians, right? These were the 2 bird races because birds eat insects, right? Birds eat insects. So we created this bird race to counteract these insects. But the birds wasn't taking the insects out or controlling them fast enough. So we were forced to leave that galaxy, right, and come to the Milky Way galaxy, right? And then when we got here, the insects followed us here. So we was like, man, we got to do something about these insects. So Mother Hubert, the top scientist, came out with an idea. gonna draft another type, aggressive type creature, because the birds wasn't they was like a neutral beings, and the Canarians they were like disagreeables, and the Blue Avians were like agreeable, but they were more of a neutral race altogether. And so what happens is when we got here, keep in mind birds lay eggs too. Birds lay eggs, and reptilians lay eggs. Keep that in mind. Uh, so what Mother Hoover said, I'm gonna design another type of creature that's gonna be way more aggressive, and they really gonna handle business on these insects. So she created the Trodacidites, or the Meldekians, right? They lived on the planet Meldek, right? Beings that live underwater, the frog man. And keep in mind, frogs eat insects, right? Frogs eat bugs and insects, right? Because like I say, if you want to see what's going on in the galaxy, all you got to do is look here on your planet. All of the science is right here on your planet, as far as like the food chain, like the sequence in your galaxy. So you look at the food chain and see what eats what, you'll see in the order that they were created. So the birds, Mother Hoover drafted the reptilians. The first type of reptilians lived on Meldeck. And then they were aggressive too. These were the joints, the dudes we got into it with, right? When we crashed into their planet and blew it up. And I believe that it was by it was like it wasn't no accident. We actually did that because they were some bad type beings, right, to get rid of them. But Mother Hoover created them first, and then once she saw, okay, I can create these joints, she went and keep on experimenting and created another type, like the Nagas, like the dinosaur type reptilians, and they walked on the land, right? And then eventually, that was like her ground military, right? And then she said, I want to create a air military because these insects, they had wings, they could fly. So she wanted to create a flying type reptilian. So she took the genetics from the Trodacidites and crossbred it back into with the birds. And now you got a reptilian with wings, the dragon type reptilians, the Dragonians, right? The first Dragonians are crossbreed between the bird race and the Trodacidites that was on Meldeck. And so they had Rabot, brother, Rabot 15. Hey, yeah, so she created the bird race, took the birds and mixed them back in with these other reptilians and created these flying type reptilians now. And so now she had a ground army and a air army, right? Like the Air Force and now an army, right? And so then we began to control these insects, right? But Mother Hoover secretly the whole time she was jealous of her brother, right? Her little brother. Mother Hoover is the oldest out of all the three brothers. She the oldest, and she's like the firstborn, right? And so she thinking that she's saying that women should be in control because men always get into it. They always fighting each other, and they the reason why the Galactics is like it is now. And so she had a secret plan to take over. And so what she did is she began to she added poison to these reptilians too, taking it from the plant beings. The plant beings, taking the poison from the plant beings and crossbreeding it with her with the genetics of these reptilians. Now you got poisonous reptilians. So you got snakes that got poison, and then you got snakes that ain't poison, right? The reptilians, right? And then once she saw how powerful her military was, because she was the mother of all the reptilians. And that's why in a reptilian clan, they have a queen. The queen is the head being in the reptilian clan because of Mother Hoover. She put the women, like the feminine energy in charge, right, of these beings, right? And once she saw how powerful her military was, she's like, I can use these guys to take over. But she had one problem. These beings were ugly, right? And they thought Dragonians think that we ugly as well. What time is it? I'm gonna get off in about a couple minutes. Dragonians think we oh look. Okay, all right. Hey, I'm gonna send them books to you, brother to brother. There's something I'm gonna send the books to you when I get off the live. Yeah, so Mother Hoover wanted to take over. How powerful her military was. So she was gonna use her military to conquer and take over and remove Anu. And remove the angel Michael Yanun, who was put in charge by his grandfather Anu. she wanted to take over that spot because really technically the Yanun, he moved up to the Most High. He gonna move up to the Most High because he the next. He'll be the 10th Most High, right? Because Anu now is the 9th Most High. So Mikael he the next in line to be the Most High, right? So she was in competition with it, and so she used her army to try to destroy and take over the Rizians, take over our planet. But first thing she did is she set up a base for these beings on Titan, right? And then she started taking DNA from us and started crossbreeding these beings, right? Crossbreeding these beings, and then with the Hindus, right? The Hindus, the Dragonian that she had already mixed with the Dragonian that she had already mixed with the birds, right? She brought the Dragonian. Now she got winged serpents. She took these winged serpents now, and on Titan and Pluto, started crossbreeding them beings with the Hindus, right? Just got to eating that salad, man. I ate that damn ginger, bro. That ginger is tough. Oh yeah, they say that vitamin. I mean, that coconut water. This right here shit is fire, man. This is, man. I'm telling you, they need to send me a check for this joint for promoting it, right? Yeah, but they began crossbreeding with these Hindus. The Hindus came from the planet Nevada, Procon star system, like 66 billion years ago, right? And they landed on the moon, and then they went to Titan and Pluto. Then began mixing with these Dragonians, so they would look more humanoid looking, because they couldn't infiltrate us looking reptilian, because they'd be exposed, because they ugly big creatures, right? Big beings, right? So they mixed with the they mixed with the Hindus, and now they look more humanoid looking. That's how you get the Tanush and the Hala, what they call the Vulcans, right? The Vulcans, and they show these beings in Star Trek, I think, right? And I show pictures of them in the book of Extraterrestrial, right? So now you got a humanoid Dragonians, right? And so with these humanoid Dragonians, they first they couldn't travel nowhere because we put a restriction on them at first until they invaded Saturn. Our home planet at first. They invaded Saturn first, and once they invaded Saturn, they was able to get certain type of paperwork, right? Just like the Moors, like Christopher Columbus and them, they couldn't sail to the Western Hemisphere until they got that Sat Granada in 1492 and got the seal, so they can put the seal of paperwork with the Emperor's seal and be able to come over to the Western Hemisphere, right? It was the same thing in the Galactics. As it is above, so is it below. So they eventually infiltrated Saturn because they kind of looked at humanoid now, and it was less easy on the eyes now. They can infiltrate our planet, the Saturn, and then after they infiltrated Saturn, they migrated and found their way to Riz, but they didn't even know what Riz was, because we had Riz well hidden, Eliun well hidden. They didn't even know where it was. How they found out what Eliun was is Alelu, which is Anu's brother. He told them. He made a deal with these Dragonian reptilians, and that goes back to, at first Alelu was over Orion. He was like because Orion is like the international headquarters, like an intake where all these different beings meet up at and mingle, and a lot of them mix their seed together to create new types of races. But Alelu was over there. Anu put Alelu over there, and he was doing wrong. He was doing bad stuff. So Anu ended up kicking him out and firing him. He got mad and then went to Cyrus, right? When he got to Cyrus, that's when he ran into a being by the name of Queen Mir. Queen Mir is like she the mermaid beings, and they come from a species. It's a lot of different things that happen because the Nagas, when after Nubaru crashed into the planet the first time, we adopted some of the reptilians that were here and moved them to Cyrus, right, for safety, and then and they became later as the Nomos. They began populating on these different planets in Cyrus, and they became later known as the Nomos. Right, they were the fish beings. So all like the whale, like the sharks, the different types of fish in the ocean, they are classified really as nomos, Yeah, they're classified as nomos, right? And so the Hindus later came to Cyrus too and mixed with these fish beings, right? And created now a half type human looking fish, like the mermaids, right? Created the mermaids. So the mermaids are mixed between the nomos and the Hindus, right? Because the Hindus would be having sex with anything. They tell you that they tell you it in the Bible in the land of Nod. In the land of Nod, they'll put some honey in they'll get find a hole in the tree and put some honey up in that joint and then start having sex with the tree. Right? That's how freaky these Hindus are. Right? Hindus are freaky people, man. All right, so but yeah, they created these fish beings. They have fish, have the Dogon type beings, right? And so they had already was populating there in Cyrus, right? And so when Lelu got there, he went to visit some of the planets, and he saw this Queen Mirror was running these planets. He saw that Queen Mirror. He wanted to marry the chick, but the chick wouldn't mate with him. Why? Because he wasn't of her kind. So he decided came up with a way to slice his DNA to make himself half man, half fish. But he could change his feet back. You know what I'm saying? Like he only can hold his feet for so long, and then he go back to his fish thing because he did like a genetical slicing with himself, right? So he ended up marrying the chick, and they ended up moving back to Neptune, right? And so the mermaids were on Neptune before we crashed. Before the crash came around again, when they got electric storm on their planet, and a lot of them died, and so we took them off. We quarantined Neptune and took a lot of the mermaids off and brought them to Earth. So it's mermaids now under your ocean, in the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. They came from Neptune. They're the children of Alelu, right? Yeah. So and your government captured some of them. Matter of fact, I'm trying to find them videos that I had. I had them on my hard drive. I think on my old laptop where the government shows this big old fish tank on the ground where they got these mermaids and then they study them, right? So yeah, Alelu ended up coming back when he got to Neptune, and then he visited this planet. And keep in mind, we was already here mining gold, right? Inky was over the project because he was like a half breed of Anunnaki. His dad was Anunnaki through Anu, and then his mother was like Hindu and reptilian type, right? Through his mother, Adi, I think that's her name, right? And so he was like a prince of this planet because he was like half of the people. He was like half from the beings that were over this planet, and then he was half Anunnaki from Anu. So in order to make the people that was here comfortable, they put a Inky over the project, right? And so to make a long story short, eventually Alelu started coming here, right? That's when you see him on. That's why you see him as a fish guard being the Dogon being, right? And he really played like Alelu had investments in on the gold because we had a business, right? We told you about the business that's the Raziel II, the 15th elder Raziel II is over Riz Tech, and we were designing these crafts and selling them. We were designing these crafts, right? These crystal type crafts, gold crafts, different type of technology we were designing for Riz Tech, like a business. And we were selling them around the globe, right? Selling them around the universe, right? To different beings that we dealt with, right? That we had treaties with. Because keep in mind, Anu had like 80 wives, and they weren't from the same species. His wives are from different species. That's why Riska mother is like reptilian type, like a reptilian humanoid type. So Riska was like part like Anunnaki and part like Hindu reptilian, right? So that's part of it. We had a business going on. So Alelu had a percentage in that business. So when he came here to see the progress on the mining that we were doing. And they have people under the impression that these people were just in there with hammer and chisel, that we had the Sands people, right? The Sands people. And the Sands people actually come from a whole other planet. They was on a whole other planet in the Centaurian star system. And we brought them here. Right, and we bred them because they was like part insect, part like an 8-man type creatures. We crossbred some different creatures to make this being. a long time ago on another planet, and then we brought them here, and so they like one of the oldest species here, the Sand people of South Africa, of the Kalahari Desert, right? So they were here, and people have the impression that these people were using hammer and chisel, but they weren't using hammer and chisel. Inky had designed heavy equipment like the big ass cranes, the big old coal machines that you see that scoop up the stuff like that and dig. He designed all those that equipment, and we had the Sands people and some of the Anunnakis at first, right, working this equipment. So they wasn't doing like a hammer and chisel type mining. They were actually working heavy equipment. But when Alelu came here, he saw these beings, because keep in mind, these nomos were eating humans. These nomos beings were eating the humans, and sharks and all of them still eat humans today. Well, white folks, right? So you rather him eating Nubians, right? Because white folks always try to get out there and swim with them, pet them and shit. They try to pet a damn shark, man. You got to be crazy. They get in this cage with tigers and shit, right? They do crazy shit like that. Yeah, these nomos, Alelu, these mermaids, they eat humans, right? At least the group that was with Alelu. And so at first they were eating these Aldebarans, and keep in mind the Aldebarans, they come from another species. They actually originate from here, like because a while back we started abducting the Armax, these Nubians or new boons, like Baba say, new boons. We started abducting these beings and taking them to the Centaurian star system. And when they got there, we gave them a lot of technology, and they became an advanced race from the beings that were here. And people was here that was advanced too. But these the Armax and the Mayan type, or the Patois or the Twa man, we started adopting these beings and taking them to Centaurian star system. And eventually they set up there, and then they got into it, and then a group of them migrated to the Rajal star system, to the Rajal star, right, in Orion. They had a big commotion there where they got into it, and a nuclear war broke out. And one group ended up leaving, and one group stayed. But that group, over a period of billions of years, they evolved into looking like a gray type creature. And we'll talk about that too, looking like a gray type creature. And the group that left, they went to Procon star system, where the Hindus was, right? And they became known as the Proconians. It's the ones you see with the blonde hair, right? With the blonde hair, and they muscular looking, right? They originally originated from off the planet Earth, and went to like I say, to the Centaurian star system, then to Rajal, and then they migrated to the Procon star system. And the Procon star system is like a yellow and a white sun. And what it did is, at first they didn't have the blonde hair. What happens is, when they got on that sun, because different suns dictate different genetics, right? Because your genetics is dealing with the sun. Our genetics are dealing with the sun, right? So being that this sun, what it does is it increased the tyrosine in their body, and it started to birth new kids with blonde hair. And it also created the albino genetics. The albino genetics, where now amongst these Proconians, or these Centaurians that originated from the planet Earth, now you have Caucasian type or albinos, really they were albinos being born with blonde hair. And these people were looked at as a lesser type race amongst these Proconians, right? Just look at the tape called the Proconians. We put that out already, maybe 2 years ago, right? Somebody say something? Oh, look. For sure. No. What can you say about what? Yeah, man. Yeah, so the Proconians, right? The Proconians, the albinos amongst them, right? They were looked at like a lesser type race. So these beings, in order to, because these beings they were very sexual beings, these Proconians, and they end up losing their ability to produce kids and to be able to have an orgasm, right? And so in exchange, the reptilians, what they line as, right, the Dragonians made a deal with these Proconians and said that if you give us these beings to eat, these albinos to eat, we'll give you the technology to reinstill to reinstall your pleasure to have orgasms and everything, right? And so the head Proconians is like, yeah, it's a deal. So they started selling these albino slaves that they had to the reptilians. And the reptilians took those beings and took them to a planet called Aldebaran and set up like a farm, like a chicken farm, to start breeding these albinos as a food source, right? And so that was going on for a while, right? And then Lelu was also making deals with the same beings to eat. They was eating these albinos, right? They was making clone meat and everything, just like they doing here with the cows and all that. They were making cloning the meat, so they making clone Aldebarans. So eventually, go back to Lelu. Lelu was eating those beings, and they came to Neptune. Then he came here and visited the planet and was walking around with Inky, and Inky was showing them how they was doing the digging and whatever, right? And then he seen the Sands people, the children. He seen one of the children, and he had kidnapped the couple and took them back to his planet to eat. And when he ate them, they tasted way different. They got a rush when they ate them. Why? Because these Sands people had an adrenaline gland. They had an adrenaline gland, right? The Aldebarans beings, when they went to another star system, they didn't have they was born without the adrenaline gland. So it was like they weren't tasty as the Sands people. The Sands people had a seasoning to them, the adrenaline gland, right? And the elites use this today called adrenochrome. They still drink it today. But I'm gonna get down to that part, right? So Alelu ate some of these beans and said, "Man, they tasty. They taste way better than the white meat. The dark meat tastes better than the white meat, right?" And so he had eventually made a deal with these reptilians, because the reptilians were also eating nomos. The Dragonian reptilians were also eating the nomos as well, right? So he ended up making a deal with the Dragon reptilians for them to stop eating his people and start taking into consideration of eating these new type people. So when the Dragonians came to make a deal with Alelu, he let them taste one of the Sands people, right? And when they bit down into them, they got a rush, like they had snorted a line of coke or something, right? They snort and they call it adrenochrome, right? They got like a rush from eating these Sands people, and it was like getting high. And so they're like, "Oh man, we gotta make a big deal on this. We need 144,000 of these little kids, these Sands people kids, so we can eat them." And like cocaine, it's like a drug deal. It's like a drug deal between Lelu and these Dragonian reptilians. So Lelu made a deal. He came back to the planet and tried to figure out how he was gonna set up this. This is how religion started. This is how religion gets started. Listen to me. This is how religion gets started. I'm gonna tell you how it gets started. When Lelu came back, he wanted to set up a deal where he can get these Sands people. But he couldn't get Inky because he didn't trust Inky at the time. Later on, Inky became his stepson because he married his mother. But we'll get to that. But he didn't trust Inky, so he ended up hiring Baal. Baal is Ili's son, right? He ended up hiring Baal. Like hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man. Be sure to subscribe if you ain't subscribed. Hit that like button. So he ended up hiring Baal. And made a deal with Baal. He said, "I give you a percentage of what I'm gonna make off of this if you help me herd this 144,000." And keep in mind, Baal means Lord of the Covenant. The covenant means contract, right? They also called him Lord Barith, like his name means Lord of the Covenant, right? Lord of the contract. The contract was the deal that Lelu made with the reptilians, the drug deal for the 144,000 virgins, which really means children of the Sands people that was in South Africa. They're gonna call it Hari Desert, right? So Baal set up his own priesthood. He hired some of the people, Sands people that he was teaching, and he made them a part of his priesthood, and they was responsible for herding these kids. And it's still going on to this very day. That deal is still going on to this very day. Yeah, the Sands people. Who are the Sands people? Let's pull up, go to Google and type in Sands people of South Africa. And don't leave out the D, just put SAN people, Sands people of South Africa. right? And you're gonna pull up these beans, right? These beans. I wish I had I wish I was on my laptop. I could probably show you a picture of them. But you'll see them if you type that in and on Google. Just type in Sans, SAN Sans people. You type it like this: SANS people on Google in South Africa, and they'll pull them up. You'll see what they look like. They got real nappy, tight hair. They the original people, some of the original people of this planet, besides the Twa man. The Twa man is the oldest people on the planet, like a humanoid type. But the Sands people were brought here. They're like the second oldest race on the planet, right? Besides the reptilians, right? All right. So the herd these 100. Vega. Good. Yeah, I get into that. The Vega star system with the plant race. We'll get into that. The plant rings. I'm see how much time I got because I got to get off I got to get off really in 5 to 10 minutes. I'm gonna go like another 10 minutes. I'm gonna come back on this probably tomorrow. I'll come back on this and finish it off because we got to do another class, something else after 6:30. Yeah. So for the last 5 minutes, let me talk about this. So Baal set up his own priesthood called the Baphomet, right? The Baphomet, the goat Menes. Those beings that follow that being, that's why they raping little kids and doing and stealing the adrenochrome out of kids. It goes back to that deal that they made with a Alelu, right? And so eventually, they set up the like the Roman Catholic Church. They follow Alelu. That's why you got the fish. They got the Nomos fish. The Pope wears the Nomos fish hat, and then these cardinal beings that follow him as a bird. It's a disagreeable bird beings. The disagreeable bird beings is the cardinals, right? They follow the Pope because of the race of the cardinals, these Canarians, they decided to follow Alelu, right? They started to worship Alelu and follow him. So that's why you see the Pope. It's all symbolic, man. It's all dealing. When you look at that Roman Catholic shit, it's all extraterrestrial shit tied into that, right? The Pope wearing the fish hat, them Christians putting the fish on back of their car. It's all dealing with the Nomos, right? And Alelu them. Right? And the Dogons people, right? So yeah, he set up his own priesthood to herd the 144,000. That's how the 144,000 number come about. It's dealing with them, herding these children for the reptilians to be able to eat. Pretty much they're like a drug, these Sands people like a drug, because they had the adrenaline gland. Right? And so yeah, so that's what Christianity is all about. It's about the deal that Baal made with Alelu, right? And they all in bed together. But eventually they got busted. They got busted and got ran off. I thought the Nomos were good. Yeah, the Nomos are neutral beings. Because keep in mind, at one point they fought on our behalf against the reptilians. They help us out, but then they turned against us. The Nomos are neutral Zords. Right, because you got benevolence, and then you got neutral Zords. The Nomos are neutral. So at 1 minute they love you, and the next minute they don't. You know what I'm saying? So they like so sometimes they can be good, and sometimes they can be disagreeable. It depends on the agenda. They own agenda. Because they fought against the reptilians at one point to help us out, like I said, and then they turned against us. Once they got the reptilians off of us, they turned against us. Right? Yeah, so let me see what time it is. I gotta get ready to get off in about 3 minutes. I'm gonna come back on this tomorrow. I'm gonna finish this up tomorrow. What was it? Yeah, so as we closing, so the deal is between Baal, but Eli came along later. They found out that Baal had made the deal with Alelu, and so they banished both of them. They didn't banish Alelu. Because they couldn't banish him because it's a position. So they just kicked him off the planet and kicked him out of the solar system. And then they banished Ili's dad banished him to the fourth dimension, to limbo, to what the Christians call a hell. It's like what you call a subspace, right? Because you got subspace, which is the fourth dimension, and it's like a part of the fourth dimension, and then you got hyperspace, which is the sixth dimension, where light is formed in, right? So they cast Baal to the fourth dimension, which is why they say that he a demon and he's trapped in hell and all that now, because He got trapped in the subspace, right? What they call hell. And so that's how Bell became like a popular like he is. It goes all the way back to that deal they made with a Laylu them, right? Now the Zoom tonight we having a large meeting in the Zoom class, so like we ain't letting our newcomers in tonight. We having a meeting, then we're gonna decide how we gonna do it from now. Cause like I told you, we got people infiltrating us, and we gotta figure out who's who now. You know what I'm saying? So we putting a towel on the door, and you gotta know a password now to get in. You gotta know a password to get into our Zoom meetings now, because people they infiltrating us, man. They stealing our knowledge. Like the stuff I just told you, you probably never heard it like put together like that, because we the one that's putting the new information out. We the one that's putting it together like that. You know what I'm saying? And making sense of it all. Yeah, so we having the Zoom class tonight, but like we just having like the regular guys tonight, and then to maybe the next day we'll start to figure out we're gonna let some new cats in, because a lot of people stealing our shit, and then they going on their YouTube and putting it out and saying that they came out with it first. You feel me? So yeah, I just wanted to bring that part. I'm gonna finish that story up tomorrow though. I might have a morning class tomorrow, like at 9 o'clock. Like might have coconut water and chat with the young elder at 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So I'm probably gonna talk about this tomorrow and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll be on longer tomorrow though. So you get that coconut water, man. That shit fire. I'm telling you, man. This right here, this joint right here, man. Yeah, don't drink no coffee. Drink this in the morning. Don't drink no coffee. Get you some coconut water. And look all the vitamins in this joint. You probably can't see it because it's like real small and shit. But it got a whole bunch of vitamins and stuff inside of this coconut water. Coconut water is a natural aphrodisiac. So if you're an old cat and you gotta take Viagra, don't take no Viagra. Drink you some coconut water. And I got other herbs. We're gonna be talking about herbs too later. Might do a class on herbs. We got the Dr. Sebi's remedies books. I got a couple more Dr. Sebi books. I gotta dig out that box. Yeah, so we got but like this coconut water, it gives you a lot of energy. Like you don't gotta drink, because coffee is acidic, right? I mean, your coffee is not acidic. I mean, yeah, your coffee is acidic. But this coconut water is alkaline. You know what I'm saying? But it gives you the same energy as if you drink coffee. You know what I'm saying? So keep it, stay tuned. Dr. Sebi was sent by, yeah, that's right. Dr. Sebi is like beings like us, Dr. Sebi, Noble Jew Ali, Baba, all of us are sent by the universe to rebalance, because the universe is unbalanced. That's why I said, man, hey, start giving, man, because when you give and help somebody that's in need, you put out a positive energy, and that energy goes negative energy that the Illuminati, or the so-called, because they ain't really the Illuminati, that the Luciferians putting out. It goes against the energy that the Luciferians putting out. Like it was a dude in the grocery store. He came to me. He went to 10 different people. I saw him, but I didn't know that what he was asking for. But when he came to me, he said, "Hey man, I just got to the hospital. I don't got no money, and man, actually, could you buy me something to eat?" So I had a couple dollars on me. I bought the guy something to eat, and I felt like a positive energy went out when I did that. So and the Most High came to me and said, "Yeah, I always do it all the time though. I always keep like $5 or $10 on me to be able to give to the homeless. If I see a homeless guy, I don't matter if they black, white, it don't matter what color they is. If they homeless and they need it, I give it to them. So I ain't really racist. You know what I'm saying? I ain't really racist, even though I'm a Moor and I understand the game. I don't really hate white folks. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So because hate ain't I ain't no hater. You know what I'm saying? If you hate white folks, that means you a hater. You know what I'm saying? You hating on white folks. Why you gotta hate on white folks? You know what I'm saying? So I ain't no hater. But I'm about to get ready to get off, and so I should, and Wadu to all of y'all.